I'm Mike Mazursky, ex-bank robber. My book is Once Upon a Time in Tel Aviv, a bank robber story. I'm chatting with Stacks.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Stacks. I'm your host, Bill Stacks, and today I got Mike Mazursky. Once Upon a Time in Tel Aviv, a bank robber's story.
And if I was offered, I would say no, but I was never even offered, so yeah.
Did you start to change your life when you were in prison, or did you wait until you got out to really start making the change?
So, well, when I first got locked up, my girlfriend, she brought me a book that I had lying around my apartment called, and I always loved to read since I was a kid. I always loved to read. So she brought me this book that I never got around to reading, and it was called Jackrabbit Parole by Stephen Reed. Stephen Reed was a legendary Canadian bank robber. He was a member of the Stopwatch gang. He wrote this book when he got locked up. He got locked up in 1980, so it was a while ago. And he wrote this book. It was based on his life, but he wrote it in the form of a novel. And he changed the names around. He changed some details around. And I was reading this book when I first got locked up, and I was just like, it inspired me so much. It was an amazing book, and it inspired me to write. And what I did was I took that format that he used, that blueprint, and I kind of switched things up and turned this story into a novel. You know, I was so inspired that I tried to take that writing style and make it my own. Even though I was not on the level of a John Dillinger or even a Stephen Reed, I still had a pretty crazy story, and I wanted to kind of record it for posterity's sake, if you want to call it that. But yeah. So I started to write, and you know, I did that basically my whole bid. I was, you know, writing every chance I could, but I never. Honestly, I never thought I would go straight. Like, I never planned on going straight. But what happened was, after I got parole and I got out, at first I wasn't allowed to leave Israel. I was, you know, supervised release, all that. I had like an ankle monitor. I was on house arrest that night. But anyway, my mother, she flew in to see me. I remember she only flew in for the weekend, for like 2 days. And then I remember we were talking. I looked in her eyes, and I realized finally how much pain I caused her and my father as well for sort of the life I chose. And once I saw like that look in her eyes, like that right there, that moment, I was like, I'm done. I'm never doing this again. Like, I can't put my family through that. So just for that sake, I said, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to do this again. I'm going to go straight and, you know, live a regular life and do the right thing. So it was not something I ever planned, and it was not something I ever thought would happen. But in that moment, I was just like, that's it. I'm done. And that's ever since then, you know, not ever. Obviously, at that point, I was on parole, so I wasn't doing anything because I was on parole. But, you know, I'm off parole now for a long time, and, you know, I'm done with that life. I'm a law-abiding citizen now, so.
Did they give you restitution where you had to pay back the money?
I had to pay a certain, not all the money, but like they did hit me with some fines that I had to pay. So yeah, there was like a little bit of that, but not too much. Yeah.
Could have been a lot worse, right?
Yeah, man, 100%. There was actually a guy that got locked up around the same time as me. I met him in jail, and he was, they called him the Israeli Bonnie and Clyde because he was doing this with his girlfriend. And he was actually getting a lot of media attention at the time. So he was a good guy. You know, I met him, we talked, I liked him a lot. But he made a big mistake when he got locked up. His girlfriend was locked up as well. And he said, look, I'll tell you everything, just let her go. And he copped everything. Now, obviously, the cops aren't going to let her go. Like, that's not how it works.
No.
But he was trying to be, you know, do the right thing for her. And out of his ignorance, I guess, he ended up getting a really long bid. I think he got 9 years or something. He wouldn't take a plea deal. He got 9 or 10 years or something. So
she went to prison too, right?
You know, she was actually pregnant with his kid when she was arrested, and she ended up only doing 6 months. You know, she's a woman, so I guess they were easy on her, and I guess he was like the mastermind, whatever. So she actually got out after doing 6 months, and she actually pled to 4 counts as well, just like me. So I got 4.5 years. She got 6 months, but God bless, I'm glad she got out. So God bless her.
So what's in store for the future for you, and where can people find your book?
So yeah, the book is on Amazon, on Kobo, Barnes and Noble, Google Books. Give it a read. It's a good read, in my humble opinion. It's got that tongue-in-cheek type of style to the writing, where it doesn't take itself too seriously, And like I said, I was heavily inspired by Stephen Reed's book, Jack Rabbit Parole, which I also encourage people to read. It's an amazing book. So yeah, pick up the book, give it a read. You won't be sorry. What's in store for me is just living life, doing the right thing. It was fun while it lasted. I don't regret it. It was fun while it lasted. I never hurt nobody, even though people were scared, obviously, and I had to come to terms with that. That people were, if somebody's scared to death, maybe you're not physically hurting them, but you're definitely, it's not nothing. It's not nothing. So I'm just living a whole different life now. It's like, I sold my wild oats when I was young, I guess. So I got it out of my system. Thank God.
Yeah, it's good to turn your life around, do the right thing now. It's a whole new experience to live your life like that, right?
Listen, in a lot of ways, it's better, man. You live good, you do the right thing, and look, the adrenaline rush is something else, but life is fine without it. You don't necessarily need that. So, but I guess when you get older, you realize that when you're young, the sun rises and sets with like your next score and the action and all that. But once I don't know, for me, once I got it out of my system, I guess for me, once I realized that I can't, that if I do it again, I would betray my family. That was really what it was. Like I realized that if I do it again, I would betray my family. And one thing, like I would never betray anybody that I love. Like that's loyalty to me is paramount. So it's like I would betray my own family, so I could never do that. So that's why I was like, that's it. I'm done. So,
do you regret living your life like that?
No, like I said, I don't regret it because it led me. Everything happens for a reason. It led me to where I am, and I actually became closer to my family, ironically, throughout all this, especially with my dad. So no, I don't, man. It's part of who I am. It's part of my past, and I don't regret it at all. It's like I said, everything happens for a reason. It leads you to, from a bird's eye view. Later on, you see, oh, this bad thing happened so that this good thing could happen. But in the moment, you don't see that. But it's important to keep that in mind.
100%, man. Well, it's a wild story, and I'm gonna get it out there to the people, see what they think about it.
I encourage you all to get the book, read it, and check out my friend's channel too. You won't be sorry. And hey, listen, I got to tell you, Bill, I got plenty more stories as well. I got some prison stories that ain't half bad. So there's a lot more. There's a lot more stories to tell. Honestly, we haven't really scratched the surface.
I'll have you on for a part 2, and we'll get into some more stories.
We should do that, man. We should do that.
Definitely. You want to give anyone else a shout out before we go?
Yeah, well, I have every now and then I correspond with Louis Ferrante. You've had him on your show, so we don't know each other personally, but we have like a correspondence. I respect what he did as far as turning his life around and becoming a writer while he was away. So sometimes I go to him for advice. Shout out to him, man. He's a good guy. I enjoy reading his books as well.
100%. Go check out his book. I'll leave a link in the description of this video. Shout out to Louis Ferrante. Great guy. And I look forward to hearing more in the future. And I wish you nothing but success on your book sales, man.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you, man. My first ever podcast. There you go. I popped my podcast cherry. We did it.
If you like this show, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And if you don't like the show, do bad. Start your own podcast. Peace.